doing earned media events in Mercer County, we basically salted all of Erie County to strengthen and solidify our base there. And then in Butler County, we had a program called Hot Idle, which was operated out of headquarters here in, where you are right now. And we were leafleting all of our plant sites, getting out the word about Kathy, trying to move that number up, so that we could, even if we didn't win Butler County, if we just moved our number up in Butler, it could offset, the disparity in other areas. So we did blanket leaflets across Butler, worked with volunteers, and as we moved toward Election Day, we continued to do flash polling every single day, or as often as we could, to track our progress, to see if we were improving, if we needed to just jump ship in that county or whatever county we were talking about, or if we needed to really just keep on and increase because we saw our numbers starting to bump up. And so that's how this was a machine for that congressional race. And I'm thinking about it now that we're off of the election, any issue-based campaign that we want to do, or that any affiliate wants to do, this would be a true machine to organize on an issue. Because like I was talking earlier, I forget, Tom had come to me and said about losing some votes on an issue that he was concerned about lately, wanting to put pressure on elected officials. And like I said, if we have a phone list for that area around that congressman or congresswoman or that elected official, we can upload the list in half an hour, and then by the end of the day, depending on how many phone bankers we had, how many volunteers or whatever, you will have talked to hundreds of people in that congressional district or that area and found out and put pressure and hopefully mobilize them to call that congressperson, okay, about that issue. So now we want to use this as a structure and as a tool to organize around issues. So,
can I ask a question?
Sure.
How much the numbers, cell phones, or
anything. I mean, because of our membership, union members that are predominantly over age 50,
right? Okay.
most of it's landlines. But we are moving very much toward cell phones, absolutely. We had over 11,000 union members volunteer across the country this year. And we got, I'm not sure what the percentage is, but we got a very large percentage of their cell phone numbers. Right. And so now we can use that. And yeah, I mean, it can be used for cell phones or for landlines.
And do you target a particular time during the day in which you actually do call it? Oh, okay.
Wayne's going to
go ahead. Go through.
No, that's all right. I just want to sit up here for a second.
Yeah. I mean, since we have members all across the country, we had to be cognizant of time zones, of course. But then we have members that are retired, so it's best we try to focus on daytime calls to our retired members,
okay,
and then active members in the evenings if we could. But the good thing about union members oftentimes is that even if they're an active member, they work swing shifts. So we could even call during the day and hit a lot of active members anyways. So, but yeah, we had to be aware of that. So.
There are flash polls that you would do in the congressional districts. Mm-hmm. Would you use a sample, or would you use the entire population of your database?
We would do a sample. Yeah, I mean, we would try to do our best. I'm not, by any means at this point, a statistics whiz, right. But now that's, we were doing oversampling. I mean, seriously, if you look at polling that's done on a nationwide, I was reading. It's interesting. I was given this by my boss yesterday. This is a poll that was done, a nationwide poll of 800 people, and that's representative.
Yeah,
because they did
right.
Okay, and we were doing polling of our membership in a state. So that they were doing a nationwide poll. That's millions of people. 800, okay, was a representative sample. We were doing hundreds of people to represent our membership within a state where we had 100,000 members. So we were really oversampling by like huge amounts. And now that the election's over, I'm trying to go back and learn about how we can maybe make our samples smaller and still be representative. But we were oversampling by a mile. I mean, we would talk to a couple hundred members in a congressional district, and that would be our poll.
We called over 200 people just in Butler County.
Do you have a plot of that particular race? That sounds really interesting. I'd like to see how.
Well, just odd that you may ask. Over on the board over there, that is Butler County's results. McCain smoked Obama in Butler County. And that's where Kathy Dahlkemper won that race. If you look
at the very end.
Okay.
But
she loses by less than 2.
Could you see the climb, the effect of your activity?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, if you go back to, for example, I mean, like this right here, this was in the Philadelphia area, union members. And this is every single day, 16, 17, 18, 19, every single day we were doing polling. And these are hundreds of people in a congressional district or in a city. So, I mean, we were able to do daily tracking. I mean, by the end of the election, Wayne said about Kanjorski, we had Murtha. By the end of the election, in one day, we were spending an hour in each congressional district in Pennsylvania. I mean, it was ridiculous.
And I can see the major effect in something like that, particularly.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to see there a reflection
of Pennsylvania politics.
Lots of things happening. That's just going to show you the
happen
general trend, but that's going to be your effect.
That'll never happen again.
To what extent do you like call up Dahlkemper like, hey, you know, you're slipping in these few days. You should probably talk to this.
Oh, constant communication with Tina McGean, her campaign manager. Hey, you know, the next time if we're going to retain this seat, we're never going to do that again in Butler unless she resides there for the next 2 years. Crawford County is the next. I already told her she better get to work in Crawford County because she's never going to reproduce that number in Butler County. Never going to reproduce that in Butler County. That is a conservative redneck district. We just got all the groups that we knew. We worked very, very closely with. Did I say anything wrong?
No.
Did I swear?
No.
He's not
allied with the CWA in that race, and we allied with the United Auto Workers. We had Working America working right next with us on this race. Anybody that we could, it was the #1 focus of the race, the open seats, more or less, the seats that didn't have the freshmen in it, because that's the path that we started down. Protect the freshmen, because the second election after you elect the freshmen is the most difficult. Once they get past that election, and we were successful in all 4, it's usually they become so well funded and so ingrained in that district that you have to be actually incompetent like English was, where he just fell in love with Washington and forgot about CD3. He loved the Beltway, but he never did anything for his district. Pipe and tube factories closed, you know, yearly there. The job loss was so bad, the communities that had become run down and distressed, and the people just said enough's enough. It was a great opportunity. She's the right person at the right time. Whether she's going to deliver for us, we don't know yet. She hasn't cast her first vote. But we know she's going to be a damn sight better than what we had before.
How local do you go? With all the way down to city council, or do you just have a state?
Well, in our latest effort, which we haven't even begun to poll on yet, on the stimulus, we're going to have to, because that's where the money's going to go. We're going to be going to school boards, we're going to be going to city councils, we're going to be going to county councils, because that's where the money's coming. We're going to make sure it gets spent the right way so that the taxpayers, the citizens, are the beneficiaries and not someone that lives offshore or, you know.
And before I forget, before you all leave, this is like jumping way far ahead, but I have a sign-in sheet that if you want to put your email address down, I want to communicate with you. If you're interested, if you're in the area and you want to network, I also have my card. I'll put it right by the sheet. So feel free to take that, but also put your name and your email so that I can have that. And so other questions, though?
Yes. I'm advocating for John Conyers to kind of reintroduce H.R. 676 in the upcoming Congress. It's going to carry that same bill number so that it's not, there wouldn't be confusion of the two bills. And we, our groups realize that this is the only real solution to the health care issue nationally. And so we're advocating for that, and I'm wondering how, and I know that the steelworkers nationally, as well as a lot of locals, the union support for HR 676 is overwhelming as compared to, you know, employer groups are not behind it yet, you know, et cetera. So,
Which is, can you
what is HR
summarize it?
676? It is
Simple
the, well, actually, it's US, it'll be renamed US National Healthcare.
Medicare
Used
for
to-
everybody.
Pardon me?
It's like the Medicare for everybody.
Well, it's Medicare for, it's an expanded and improved Medicare for all, and expanded meaning expanded to everybody. Everybody in, nobody out. And improved means no more co-pays, deductibles, etc. It's a total comprehensive health care bill. If your doctor says you need it, you get it. It'll save industry, it'll save local governments millions and millions and billions of dollars. The administrative costs for Medicare is like 2 to 3% versus 25 to 30% for the private healthcare systems. Private healthcare systems are gatekeepers. They try not to cover you because they're a profit-oriented organizations. And so HR 676 is the way to go. It makes healthcare a right for every citizen, et cetera, et cetera. So how can this, I think this is fantastic. How can this help us? What do we need to do to, what do we have to come up with, the names, the numbers, or what?
Well, yeah, I mean, now that we have, you know, in terms of like that, for anybody who's a group that's, you know, working on a progressive issue that we might be personally invested in or do care deeply about, you know, we want to open this up so that it can be your campaign, so that you can use this call center and just do the work through us and, you know, use it to your benefit. And, you know, where there's an issue or a campaign that we can partner together, if you have volunteers locally that you want to bring in and use this call center, you have lists, we'll set up the campaign. And I mean, this is absolutely the way that it worked during the election cycle for us. We want to share it. We want to use it as a way to build alliances, to strengthen, you know, groups that have the same concerns. So absolutely, I mean, we should talk. And you know, if you have people, I don't know, are you local? Are you,
well, I'm.
but I know there's some single payer people in the Pittsburgh area. I know.
Yeah. You know, this is Western Pennsylvania Coalition for
Yep.
Single Payer Health
Yep.
Care, and it's based in Pittsburgh. I just
Yeah.
happen to be a Butler County representative
Yeah.
for that organization. But,
So yeah, I mean,
yeah.
we should definitely talk. And
What's
and
the
so that-
clearinghouse for issues, for campaigns or whatever? How do you guys decide?
That's a
It's
good
like,
question.
I mean, I could see if you're like totally against it, obviously not, or if you're totally for it, obviously so.
Yeah,
What
I
if
mean,
you
you
guys
know.
just don't really care and you're offering it as a service or whatever?
Well, I don't
How
know.
does this
That's
happen? How does it play out?
sure, and that's the thing. I mean, we're at the point now where this is the first time that this is a possibility because everything here is functioning, and you know we have the capacity to offer it up. So I don't really have a rule of thumb. This is how we determine who we work with, but you know, I would say if you have an idea, you know,
Or
if
how
you're
much
here,
money you can pay to make it work.
if you're here, you're probably, you know, in our network. So I don't really foresee any issue there, but you know, we should talk about it, and you know, I don't know what you have in mind, but
I was just
But yeah,
trying
I mean,
to,
it's-
the whole thing on how does somebody approach and what kinds of things, and then what we bring, we get our own volunteers to man the phone.
that helps out tremendously.
So if it's like issue advocacy
Yeah.
kind of oriented and like asking a congressman to support a certain bill
Mm-hmm.
or mobilizing your constituent, your membership, that kind of stuff.
I'll give you a perfect example. Right now that the election's over and we've got a lot of downtime in here, we are working with Working America, who is an affiliate of the AFL-CIO, and they're actually going to be using this center for some phone canvassing, first time trying it, because they've been going outside and paying corporate vendors
Right.
tens of thousands of dollars to do phone canvassing, and they don't get a personal relationship with them. They'll get stale reports back, no real, personal relationship. But here, they're going to be able to come in and they're going to use the dialer. They're a partner, so I mean, we work with them regularly anyways, but they're going to use it for phone canvassing. They're also going to, for the first time, see if they can do fundraising from this amongst their own membership. And we want to learn from that experience. We're going to, Jen Jannon, who's a terrific, extremely enthusiastic young professional working with Working America. She's their field coordinator. I want to learn from her. Now that we've got this up and functioning, I want to learn from her how they use this system for fundraising and for membership development, because we used it mostly for educational and voter mobilization. 2 weeks ago, we had our strategic campaigns department come down. Strategic campaigns, they do a lot of lobbying, a lot of very focused actions. They are right now going through an international paper bargaining. Paper is one of the sectors that Steelworkers Union represents. And they had an upcoming conference call with all of their local union presidents across the country in paper. Over 100 local union presidents, okay? Now to go through and do calls to